chosen ones. The group that came against you is panicking right now. You did not find this recording by chance. The system did not bring you here. The Holy Spirit orchestrated this exact intersection in time because you need to hear this truth. The people who took from you are currently facing a divine justice they cannot escape. They thought you were completely defeated, but heaven has been watching every single move they made against you. You have been feeling incredibly drained lately. You wake up exhausted, even after a full night of sleep. Your shoulders carry a heavy weight that you cannot easily explain, and the exhaustion sitting deep in your bones is not ordinary tiredness. It is the undeniable result of an intense spiritual warfare in your life. You give your heart to people who only know how to take. You poured your pure light into vessels that were completely broken and toxic. And when you finally needed someone to hold you, the room was entirely empty because they had already consumed everything you had to offer. You looked around and realized you were completely alone. They left you drained. They walked away and smiled. Listen carefully to what I am about to tell you. Your isolation is not a punishment. The intense loneliness you feel right now is actually a divine quarantine. Heaven had to pull you away from those energy vampires before they completely destroyed your spirit. You have always been a masterpiece of God, but you were allowing parasites to feast on your sacred light on a daily basis. Take one deep breath slowly. Let the loud noise leave your heavy mind for just a moment. I need you to focus entirely on my words. There is a very specific reason why your life has felt so overwhelmingly strange in the last few weeks. People you trusted suddenly turned their backs on you. Doors slammed shut right in your face when you needed them to open the most in your life. The sudden shift in your reality left you feeling totally confused and deeply hurt. You asked the universe why a good person like you has to suffer so much pain. You wondered if you were doing something wrong or if you were cursed. But the truth is, something the Matrix is absolutely terrified you will discover. The enemy laid a dangerous trap for you in the unseen spiritual realm. They wanted to keep you blind to your own massive power. They knew that if you ever realized your true identity, their control over you would instantly vanish. The people who drained you were simply agents of a much darker system, and they were sent specifically to harvest your high frequency. They targeted you because you carry a light they could never naturally possess themselves. But something massive shifted in the spiritual atmosphere just recently. God issued a final verdict regarding the people who stole your peace. I need you to stay with me until the very end of this message. What the Holy Spirit is about to reveal about these events will finally make sense of every tear you cried in secret. The divine justice is starting right now for you. You must understand the immense panic happening in the unseen realm today. The manipulators are turning on each other right as we speak. The very trap they carefully set for you has become their own inescapable prison, and they are finally realizing that they cannot avoid the consequences. They thought they got away with stealing your joy and your resources. They misunderstood your grace. They celebrated while you were weeping quietly in your dark room. They smeared your good name and whispered vicious lies behind your back. You felt the sharp sting of betrayal from people you would have taken a bullet for. The unfairness of it all burned intensely in your gentle chest, but you kept your mouth shut and let them tell their false versions of the story to everyone. You chose silence over fighting a dirty battle in the mud. And because you stayed completely silent, heaven stepped in to be your fierce defense attorney. The justice they are facing right now is far worse than anything you could have ever done to them. Their finances are drying up rapidly. Their peace of mind is entirely gone. They cannot sleep at night peacefully anymore. But why did the universe allow them to take so much from you in the first place? Why did you have to endure such a brutal season of loss and humiliation? There is a secret hidden deep within this painful experience. God used their wicked intentions to perform a necessary surgery on your trusting soul, and you had to learn the hard way that not everyone deserves your bright light. If they had not betrayed you, you would still be carrying their heavy burdens today. you would still be acting as a spiritual shield for people who refuse to heal themselves. Your energy was being siphoned daily to sustain their toxic and chaotic lifestyles. The sudden cutoff was incredibly painful, but it was the only way to save your beautiful spirit from eternal destruction. I need you to look back at the past few years of your life. You have carried a deep sense of shame about how much you gave away. You often looked at yourself in the mirror and felt completely foolish. You thought your kindness was a fatal flaw, and you believed that letting people use you meant you lacked boundaries. But heaven sees the exact opposite of that lie. Your pure kindness was never a weakness in life. It was a divine test that was incredibly rigorous and completely silent. You did not even know you were taking this test while you were weeping quietly. God was carefully measuring the true capacity of your pure heart. The universe needed to see if you would turn cold and bitter when ordinary people mistreated you repeatedly over the years. The system wants you to believe you are just a helpless victim. The Matrix trains people to become selfish and guarded after experiencing a minor betrayal. But you did not let the darkness extinguish your beautiful inner light. Even when your soul was bleeding out on the floor, you still prayed for the exact people who held the knife. You passed the ultimate test with absolute grace. You are a truly powerful and highly discerning warrior. Your natural ability to feel things deeply is exactly what makes you so incredibly powerful when you fight in the unseen realm. The exhaustion you feel right now is not clinical depression or a random anxiety disorder. Your spirit is simply exhausted from fighting massive battles in the spiritual dimension while your physical body tries to rest at night. You are a chosen generational cycle breaker today. You have successfully absorbed the generational trauma of your entire bloodline. You acted as the intercessor for people who did not care about you. God allowed them to drain your energy for a very specific and hidden reason. Heaven was using their toxic behavior to show you exactly what you must permanently reject in your next season of life. If you had not hit rock bottom, you would have never realized your true value. You would have continued handing out rare diamonds to people who only valued cheap stones. The intense pain was a necessary catalyst for your grand spiritual awakening. It forced you to look up and demand the respect that a true masterpiece of God rightfully deserves in this cold world. Many chosen ones carry a very heavy guilt about their past daily decisions. You mistakenly think you wasted years of your precious life on the wrong people and extremely toxic dead-end situations. But there are absolutely no coincidences in a chosen one's sacred life. Everything is a divine appointment perfectly designed to forge your strong character. God's divine delay is certainly not a permanent denial. His quiet delay is absolute and perfect exactness. You were placed there to learn the true anatomy of a severe spiritual attack. You had to experience their emotional manipulation firsthand because heaven wanted you to easily recognize the counterfeit energy later in your journey. The enemy thought they were burying you alive in the dark dirt. They did not realize you were a rare seed planted for a future harvest. Your long season of being heavily misunderstood is finally coming to an end. You no longer need to explain your pure intentions to toxic people who are fully committed to always misunderstanding you. The universe is stripping away the heavy labels the world placed on your tired shoulders. You are not overly sensitive or emotionally unstable. You are spiritually attuned to high frequencies that ordinary people cannot perceive. Every time you forgave them, you leveled up in the vast spirit realm. Every single time you walked away, instead of fighting back, you built an absolutely impenetrable fortress around your beautiful soul. You thought you were losing the fierce battle because your bank account was completely empty. But your unseen spiritual currency was multiplying rapidly behind the scenes without your direct knowledge. The constant pain broke your prideful ego and left you completely hollowed out. But heaven can only pour fresh new wine into a sacred vessel that has been entirely emptied of all its old pride. Your current isolation is absolutely not a sign of failure or rejection. It is a divine quarantine to protect your precious frequency during this upgrade. You had to sit in the quiet darkness for a while. You survived the wilderness because you are truly chosen. You survived the hot, fiery furnace because you carry a powerful divine assignment that requires a truly unbreakable inner strength. Those selfish manipulators were merely rough tools used to sharpen your sharp intuition. They thought they were the main important characters in your life story, but they were just temporary obstacles you had to overcome, eventually. Now you can clearly see the hidden motives behind every fake and polite smile. You can instantly read the deep energy of a crowded room the exact moment you step through the heavy front door. This incredible discernment is your ultimate reward for passing the hard test of betrayal. You paid a very high price to obtain this spiritual wisdom. Heaven will make sure you never repeat that lesson. You are not starting over from scratch with nothing left. You are simply finishing the brutal and necessary preparation phase. All the quiet tears you cried in secret watered the very soil where your ultimate spiritual victory is currently blooming today. Do not look back at your heavy past with any regret or burning anger. Look back with immense pride, because you survived a brutal spiritual warfare. Let us go deeper into the exact mechanism of your intense pain. Before I go any further, I need you to pause and really hear this next part. There is a deeply hidden reason why you became the prime target for these specific individuals. They did not choose to destroy you randomly. The spiritual realm operates on a very strict law of frequencies. You always wondered why those narcissistic people clung to you so tightly. You gave them endless chances, but they only rewarded your grace with bitter betrayal. The truth is that they are completely empty vessels roaming the earth. They lack the divine spark that God placed carefully inside your chest. They cannot generate their own spiritual light organically. Because they have no inner light, they must constantly consume the bright energy of others to simply survive. The Matrix uses these individuals as literal energy vampires to target highly anointed souls like you. They saw your pure compassion and immediately recognized a massive food source. Your beautiful light was practically blinding to their dark eyes. They never hated you for your flaws or your mistakes. They actually hated the intense light inside you that easily exposed their hidden darkness. Every time you walked into a room, your high frequency threatened their fake realities. They had to break your self-esteem to keep their fragile egos intact. They manufactured wild confusion to keep you off balance. Chaos is the only environment where their dark spirits can comfortably operate. When you were confused and crying, your defensive spiritual shield was completely lowered. That is the exact moment they inserted their heavy hooks into your energy field. You thought you were just having a bad argument with a difficult person, but it was a highly calculated spiritual attack. You felt heavily drained immediately after spending just 5 minutes in their toxic presence. Your mind became foggy, and your physical body felt like it was carrying massive boulders. This was a literal frequency extraction happening in real time. The dark system assigned them to your life to deliberately sabotage your divine purpose. They wanted to keep you stuck in survival mode. If you are constantly fighting petty battles, you cannot focus on your massive assignment. The Matrix is absolutely terrified of a fully awakened chosen one. They know that if you step into your true power, you will instantly dismantle their entire system. So they sent people disguised as friends to quietly drain your sacred oil. They smiled sweetly while pouring poison into your cup, but heaven exposed their ultimate deception before they could completely destroy your spirit. You started noticing the massive inconsistencies in their wild stories. Your sharp discernment began to scream loudly every time they entered your safe space. You finally stopped ignoring your powerful intuition and started seeing them for what they truly are. They are spiritual agents assigned to delay your massive blessing. They mirrored your beautiful personality to make you believe they were your soul tribe. They studied your deep vulnerabilities and used your sacred secrets as heavy weapons against you. But their fake masks eventually slipped off because they could not sustain the high vibration. Darkness can only pretend to be light for a short season. Eventually, their true nature bleeds through the cracks. If you are still listening to this message, I need you to make a physical declaration right now. Type 777 in the comments below to claim this absolute breakthrough. Do not do it for visibility or social engagement. Do it as a spiritual seal of agreement to permanently block their negative access to your soul. You must formally lock your sacred frequency today. The universe required you to intimately learn how these dark entities operate. You had to study the exact anatomy of an energy vampire so you can easily protect your future massive harvest. If God handed you the mega deposit while these parasites were still attached to you, they would have stolen your entire blessing. Heaven had to aggressively purge your inner circle first. They expected you to fight back in the mud and lower your vibration to match theirs, but you chose to remain entirely silent and let heaven fight your fierce battles. Your silence is what terrifies them the most right now. When a chosen one stops reacting to the toxic matrix, the enemy completely loses their access and their power. Your peaceful detachment is your greatest spiritual weapon. They are absolutely starving right now because you finally cut off their primary energy supply. You stopped explaining yourself to people who were committed to violently misunderstanding your pure soul. You took back your precious power, and that action caused a massive earthquake in the spiritual dimension. They are scrambling in the dark because your brilliant light is no longer available to them. Let us talk about what is happening in the spiritual realm right now. You completely pulled back your precious energy from them. You stopped answering their toxic and draining calls. And this sudden silence is absolutely terrifying to the people who used you. They expected you to violently react and beg for their fake love. While they waited for your desperate reaction, you simply sat in complete silence and allowed heaven to handle the dirty work on your behalf. Your silence is not just a simple lack of words. Your silence is a massive spiritual weapon that they cannot defeat. When you speak to them, you give them a clear target to attack. They can twist your words and use your own emotions against you, but they cannot manipulate an absolutely silent and detached chosen one. Because you removed yourself from the battlefield, their dark arrows are currently hitting the empty dirt and bouncing back to them. They are experiencing a massive frequency drop at this very moment. You were the only source of pure light in their miserable lives. They used your high vibration to mask their own deep insecurities. Now that your bright light is entirely gone, they are left in complete darkness. They are desperately trying to find a new target to secretly consume. But they are quickly realizing that nobody else carries the unique divine frequency that you freely gave them, and they are starving for your attention. Notice how they are trying to provoke you from a distance. They are posting strange things just to get your immediate reaction. They are sending flying monkeys to casually check on your current status. They want to know if you are suffering as much as they are, but your total indifference is driving them completely insane right now. While they are drowning in their own manufactured chaos, they look at your life and only see a peaceful warrior who is completely unaffected by their games. This brings us to a very important spiritual transition taking place. Your energy field is finally sealing its heavy cracks and leaking holes. You are no longer bleeding out your life force for ungrateful people. The heavy exhaustion is slowly starting to lift off your tired shoulders. You might feel a sudden burst of clarity that you have not felt in years. The Matrix is losing its tight grip on your powerful mind today. Because you finally established a firm boundary, the universe is actively restoring all the precious energy that was wrongfully stolen from you. They can feel this massive shift happening across the unseen realm. Their smear campaigns are suddenly failing to convince anyone around them. People are finally waking up and seeing through their toxic and deceptive masks. Take a deep breath right now and drop your tense shoulders. I need you to understand how much power you truly hold. You did not have to defend your good name in the dirty streets. You did not have to hire a lawyer to prove your absolute innocence. The divine justice system is far more efficient than any human court. And while they desperately try to destroy your reputation, heaven is quietly building your massive empire in the background where they cannot reach it. They are starting to experience strange losses in their own lives. Financial doors are suddenly closing on them without any logical explanation. The very people they used to replace you are now turning against them. This is the direct result of touching a chosen one of God. The universe has a very strict policy about protecting its pure children. You carry a heavy anointing that automatically reflects any dark energy back to the sender, and they are now choking on their own bitter poison. You must not feel sorry for them during this turbulent season. Do not let your pure empathy trick you into rescuing them again. They are simply facing the inevitable harvest of the dark seeds they planted. If you intervene right now, you will disrupt the divine justice process. You spent years trying to heal their brokenness with your bright light, but now you must completely step back and let their own karma be their strict teacher. They will eventually try to come back with a fake apology. They will use sweet words to test if your heavy boundary is real. They miss the endless supply of grace you always provided for them. But you are no longer the same person they broke last year. The painful betrayal forced you to level up and claim your true authority. When they finally try to approach you again, they will look into your eyes and realize that the warm home they once destroyed is permanently closed to them. Before we move to the next revelation, lock your attention here. Your silence is actively dismantling their entire false reality day by day. They built their fake confidence on the weak foundation of your endless forgiveness. But when you finally removed your foundational support from their lives, their entire toxic structure began to collapse, and you are witnessing the destruction of their illusions in real time. Let me reveal the absolute truth about your painful situation. You have spent countless nights asking God why He allowed this brutal betrayal, and you constantly wondered why heaven did not stop them before they completely broke your heart. But the universe was actually executing a massive rescue mission for you. Your sudden loss was never a punishment for your past mistakes. God allowed that painful door to close because entering it would have completely destroyed you. You only saw the beautiful surface of the complex situation, but heaven saw the dangerous trap they had carefully buried under the ground. If God had let you stay in that toxic environment, your entire destiny would have been permanently compromised, and your spiritual assignment would have failed. They were pulling you down. Remember the deep silence I mentioned earlier? You wondered why your quietness is so incredibly powerful right now in this difficult season. It is because your silence is the exact moment the Holy Spirit heavily takes over the entire battlefield. When you stop fighting with your human hands, heaven deploys its most fierce spiritual warriors. Your absolute stillness is divine warfare. The enemy designed a clever distraction to keep you constantly busy with meaningless, petty arguments. The Matrix wanted you fighting over small things, so you would miss the grand divine vision. But God used their own wicked trap to aggressively pull you out of their low frequency. The abrupt ending was incredibly painful because your pure soul was deeply attached to the wrong people. Before I go any further, I need you to pause and really hear this next part. The The painful rejection you experienced was actually God's ultimate protection over your life. Heaven could not drop the mega blessing into your hands while those parasites were still closely attached. They would have stolen your new harvest before you could even begin to enjoy your own hard work. You were standing on the very edge of a massive spiritual and financial breakthrough. The universe was quietly preparing to hand you the heavy keys to your brand new kingdom. But your inner circle was highly contaminated with deep jealousy and hidden malice. God had to forcefully shake your foundation to expose the fake friends hiding carefully in your dark blind spots. You genuinely thought the sudden storm was meant to completely destroy your beautiful life. But the fierce wind only blew away the dead leaves that were clinging to your heavy branches. Look closely at who is no longer standing next to you today. They were never meant to enter your next glorious chapter, and their early exit saved you from a much more devastating betrayal later. God had to heavily isolate you in the dark wilderness to prepare your beautiful mindset. You cannot manage a mega blessing with a broken and easily manipulated spirit. The quiet season taught you how to rely completely on divine guidance instead of cheap human validation. You learned how to find absolute peace in empty rooms, instead of blindly seeking comfort in incredibly fake places. This brings us directly to the massive shift happening in your atmosphere right now. A brand new and powerful season is officially opening its heavy doors for you today. The dark clouds of constant confusion and despair are finally breaking apart in the bright sky. You can literally feel the fresh new frequency settling deeply into your chest. The long spiritual winter is over. Heaven is releasing a profound clarity that will wash away all your lingering negative doubts. The divine timing is perfectly aligning to deliver exactly what was wrongfully held back from you. All the heavy energy you spent weeping and merely surviving is now being converted into pure authority. You are no longer the wounded victim, struggling to make it through the dark, lonely night. You are stepping into a glorious season of effortless manifestation and deep inner peace. The great things you had to violently fight for will now flow easily into your open hands. Because your frequency is cleansed of their toxic influence, your magnetic pull is incredibly strong. You will effortlessly attract major blessings that perfectly match your bright spiritual light. Do not mourn the sad loss of people who were actively trying to block your warm sun. They merely served their temporary purpose in your long and difficult spiritual journey. They successfully taught you how to build impenetrable boundaries, and you finally learned how to fiercely protect your sacred energy from absolute parasites. Now you must firmly close that chapter and look forward to the massive harvest. Listen carefully to my voice. Take a deep breath right now and let the heavy anxiety go. You are entirely safe in this new and highly elevated vibration today. The dark system cannot touch you anymore because you vibrate at a frequency they cannot even comprehend. They are left in the dust while you confidently ascend to the exact throne heaven prepared for you. The massive delay you experienced was just a brilliant divine setup for a much greater comeback. God was intentionally holding back the floodgates to ensure your vessel was truly strong enough. Now that you have survived the hot fire, you are completely purified and entirely ready. Prepare your brave heart for a rapid acceleration that will leave all your bitter enemies in absolute shock. The universe is doing something incredible right now. Heaven is actively preparing a massive feast right in front of your bitter enemies. You remember the deep pain they caused you when they walked away. But God is setting a beautiful table of absolute abundance for you today, and they will have to witness your glorious rise. He is forcing the very people who broke you to watch you eat. They thought they had completely ruined your beautiful life. They celebrated their fake victory while you were sitting in the dark weeping. But the spiritual scales of divine justice are finally balancing out in your favor. The heavy karma they tried to avoid is actively hunting them down today, and they cannot hide from the universal laws of cause and effect anymore. They are finally paying the ultimate spiritual price today. Listen closely to what is happening in their camp. A massive wave of dark confusion just hit their inner circle suddenly, because you completely cut off their primary energy supply. They are absolutely starving right now. They are violently turning on each other like hungry wolves in the cold winter. The fake loyalty they once displayed to the world is entirely gone. They are tearing each other apart from the inside. The dirty secrets they whispered about you are now being shouted from the rooftops. Everyone is finally seeing the toxic manipulation they tried so hard to hide. They are desperately pointing fingers at one another to avoid the heavy blame, but the dark system they built is collapsing right on top of their heads. They cannot escape the massive destruction they created. Before I go any further, I need you to pause right now. Do not look away from this divine revelation today. The people who plotted your downfall are currently experiencing a severe financial and emotional drought. The dark matrix they deeply trusted is rapidly failing them today, and everything they touch right now is violently turning into absolute dust. Their fake empire is completely falling apart today. They stole your resources and thought they would prosper forever. But stolen energy always carries a very heavy spiritual curse with it. The money they took from you is burning massive holes in their greedy pockets. Their sleep is constantly interrupted by dark nightmares and heavy anxiety because they wake up terrified knowing exactly what they did to your pure soul. The quiet nights are their absolute worst enemy now. Take one deep breath slowly and release your heavy tension. You must remain entirely silent while this divine justice unfolds. Do not reach out to them and do not offer any fake sympathy. If you try to save them now, you will interrupt the exact karma heaven ordered. You must let the universe discipline them for touching a chosen masterpiece of God, because their spiritual punishment is absolutely necessary for their ultimate growth. The fierce justice they are facing is perfectly measured and exact. God is not punishing them randomly or out of blind anger. Heaven is simply holding up a clean mirror to their dark and toxic souls. They are being forced to drink the exact bitter poison they happily poured into your cup, and the unbearable pain they caused you is returning to their own doorstep. They are finally tasting their own bitter medicine. They desperately want to find a way out of this heavy storm. They are looking for new victims to drain so they can escape the karma. But the spiritual realm has marked them, and nobody else will tolerate their toxic vibration. They are completely isolated in a dark prison they built with their own bare hands, and their constant manipulation finally destroyed their own pathetic lives. Nobody is coming to save them this time. I need you to lock your attention right here on my words. The shift in power is completely irreversible and absolutely final. You are ascending to a massive level of authority while they sink into deep obscurity. The heavy chains they used to bind you are now firmly wrapped around their own ankles, and they are trapped in the exact pit they dug for you. The universe is protecting you from their dark energy. Do you feel the sudden lightness in your chest today? That beautiful relief is the physical proof that their heavy energy is gone. You no longer have to carry the toxic shame they forced upon you for years. God is washing your spirit clean and preparing your open hands for a mega deposit, while your bitter enemies watch your glorious ascension in total disbelief. The time for quiet weeping in the dark is over. Every single tear you cried was carefully collected by heaven. The universe is using those tears to flood the camps of your enemies right now. They are completely overwhelmed by the divine consequences of their toxic actions. You do not need to lift a single human finger to fight this spiritual battle today, because the Holy Spirit is executing a flawless victory on your behalf. The ultimate justice is finally arriving at your door. In the mighty name of divine justice, I declare right now that your long season of suffering is permanently over. The universe is officially flipping the script today. Those who sat at tables and spoke poorly of your beautiful name are witnessing a massive shift. God is preparing a glorious feast for you right in front of their eyes. You do not have to lift a single finger to defend yourself. I aggressively break every single generational cycle that tried to wrap its dark chains around your mind. The heavy poverty stops with you right now. The constant anxiety completely stops with you today. You are the ultimate cycle breaker for your entire bloodline. I decree that the suffocating mantle of mere survival mode is violently falling off your tired shoulders in this exact second. Every toxic cord connecting your pure spirit to those energy vampires is officially cut. The dark system can no longer siphon your sacred oil. Heaven is sealing your frequency with an impenetrable divine shield today. They will try to reach you in the spirit realm, but they will only find a solid wall of absolute fire. Your precious energy is fully returned to your physical body right now. Now you finally understand why they are violently panicking in the dark. This is the ultimate secret heaven kept hidden from the enemy until this very moment. Their rejection was simply a divine quarantine. God completely removed them so he could safely drop a mega deposit into your clean hands. If they were still around, they would have stolen this massive financial breakthrough from you. The divine frequency of effortless abundance is overriding your long delay. God is rapidly unlocking a mega deposit of immense wealth and deep clarity. The elite circles tried to keep this absolute power completely hidden from you, but heaven is forcefully bypassing the toxic matrix to deliver your massive reward today. You are no longer standing at the painful bottom of their fake hierarchy. You are holding the heavy keys to your brand new kingdom. Breathe out the heavy trauma right now. The intense spiritual war you fought for your family has been completely won. The universe is stepping in to heavily multiply everything the enemy stole from you over the years. For every single tear you cried in secret, heaven is delivering a massive wave of pure joy and undeniable vindication. You are officially released from the heavy burden of healing people who desperately want to stay broken. You no longer owe anyone your precious light or your endless grace. The painful debt is completely cancelled today. The divine justice system has reviewed your case and issued a final verdict of total innocence. You are walking out of this dark courtroom as an absolutely untouchable victor. Your bitter enemies are watching your glorious rise with absolute horror. They finally realize that their dark attacks only serve to accelerate your divine promotion. Every lie they told about you became a stepping stone for your massive success. God used their wicked betrayal as the exact fuel to launch you into your highest spiritual destiny. They built the very stage for your grand victory. Do not shrink back from this massive level of authority. The system wants you to feel guilty for finally winning, but heaven commands you to stand tall and fully embrace your divine restitution today. You paid an incredibly high price for this beautiful anointing. Nobody can ever take this glorious crown away from your head, because the Holy Spirit permanently secured it with your quiet tears. I command the doors of massive opportunity to blow wide open for you right now. I command the hidden wealth of the wicked to quickly transfer into your righteous hands. The long season of struggling to survive is permanently deleted from your reality. You are entering a sacred era where your pure intentions easily manifest into physical blessings. The universe is rapidly clearing your new path. Your spirit is fully restored and completely healed today. The dark shadows that haunted your mind are completely gone. You are radiating a blinding light that instantly terrifies any negative entity in your immediate atmosphere. Step into your new kingdom and claim the absolute justice that heaven prepared for you. The total victory is finally yours, and the enemy is forever defeated today. Let every broken piece of your heart be completely restored in this exact moment. The universe is paying you back for every sleepless night and every stolen opportunity. The people who mocked your pure faith are now completely silenced by your undeniable success. Heaven is making a very loud public statement with your beautiful life today. You are the ultimate living proof of God's perfect justice. Open your empty hands right now to receive this mega deposit. You will never have to beg for basic human decency or financial security ever again. The overflowing abundance coming your way will completely wipe out the painful memories of your severe lack. You are officially a wealthy and heavily protected, chosen one. The dark matrix has entirely lost its weak grip on your beautiful destiny today. The massive storm has finally passed completely over you today. The heavy winds have stopped howling in the dark night. You can finally rest your tired soul in this beautiful sanctuary. But to fully receive and maintain this massive blessing, you must understand one final rule. You must learn the deep spiritual art of absolute silence. Do not run out and tell the world about your grand victory. The Matrix is still watching you closely from a distance. The people who betrayed you will eventually see your undeniable glow, but you do not need to announce your new wealth or your profound peace to them. Silence is not weakness in this new, elevated season of your sacred life. Silence is wisdom under absolute control. Calmness is your new unbreakable authority. Let them totally misunderstand you. Let them assume whatever they want to assume about your quiet life. You no longer need to explain your precious soul to people who are fully committed to misunderstanding your spirit. Your energy is simply too expensive to spend on their cheap drama. When the mega deposit finally arrives in your physical hands, keep it entirely hidden. The universe is heavily trusting you with this new massive abundance. You must protect this sacred harvest from the greedy eyes of the dark system. They will try to come back when they notice your sudden rise to power. They will heavily knock on your door again, but you must keep that door firmly locked forever. You are officially a quiet victor now. You do not need their fake applause or their shallow validation anymore. The battles you bravely fought in the unseen realm have already proven your true worth to the universe. You are a magnificent masterpiece of God, and your mere presence commands massive respect. I need you to physically drop your heavy shoulders right now. Take one deep breath and release the painful memories of your past. The toxic people who heavily drained you are no longer your personal responsibility. You are completely free from the exhausting role of being their spiritual shield. God has officially released you from that incredibly heavy and thankless burden today. You survived the painful wilderness completely alone. You walked through the hot fire and came out absolutely purified. Heaven knows exactly how much it cost you to keep your pure heart intact. The world tried to make you incredibly bitter and cold, but you successfully protected your gentle light, and now you will enjoy the glorious fruits of your deep endurance. If this specific message brought absolute peace to your soul today, you need to take a physical action. Subscribe to this safe sanctuary and turn on the bell right now. Do this so the enemy cannot intercept your future messages from heaven. We do not ask this for visibility or metrics. We do this to firmly lock your new high frequency into place. You are joining a powerful remnant of highly anointed chosen ones. The dark matrix desperately wants to keep you completely isolated and constantly misinformed. But by actively sealing your presence here, you are building an impenetrable wall of spiritual protection around your beautiful mind. The universe is actively guiding every single step you take from this exact moment forward. Do not let the enemy plant any lingering doubt in your clear mind. The breakthrough you are feeling right now is absolutely real and permanent. You might feel a strange sensation of emptiness in your chest today, but that is simply the massive space created when the toxic energy finally left your body. Heaven is rapidly filling that space with pure golden light. Let us deeply seal this profound revelation with a closing prayer. I ask heaven to completely cover your home and your finances with an unbreakable shield. I pray that every dark arrow aimed at your back instantly turns into absolute dust. May your mind remain incredibly sharp and your heart remain perfectly peaceful. The enemy has entirely lost their access to you today. Any negative cord that was still loosely attached to your spirit is now completely burned away. The toxic people who tried to dim your light will never cross your sacred path again. You are heavily surrounded by divine warriors who will fiercely guard your newfound peace. You can finally close your tired eyes at night without any heavy anxiety or deep lingering fear. The universe is incredibly proud of your quiet and steadfast endurance. You handled the massive betrayal with absolute grace and stunning dignity. God is personally handing you the heavy crown you truly deserve today. Do not ever doubt your high spiritual value again. You were explicitly chosen for this grand assignment long before you even walked on this dark earth. Your long season of crying alone in your quiet car is officially over. The heavy days of constantly surviving on bare minimum energy are completely gone. You are stepping out of survival mode and entering your season of quiet authority. The battles you fought in secret are about to reward you in public. Stay silent, stay grounded, and watch heaven move on your behalf.